Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I would like to discuss self-worth and how to find it and how living without it can be very difficult. Like life without self-worth can be really hard. Not can be, it is really hard. It is really a struggle to live feeling worthless, and how to get to the point where you can feel self-worth, you can feel love for yourself, you can do all that. And I come from a place of a great testimony, going from terrible circumstances, like horrible situations where I had to live through, and I had to go through and just live and solve and handle. And I was able to get to the other side. I was able to set free, be free, become independent, become strong, have self-worth, have self-confidence, have self-empowerment, and just stand in my own power and live and start living the life that I want to live. I still have big dreams and goals and things like that, but I got to the point where I am not dependent on other people. I don't have negativity from other people. I don't have people telling me what to do or their judgment, or of course people never tell you what to do directly. Usually they always tell you what to do by what they're gonna think of me, or like you thinking, are they gonna think of me this, are they gonna think of me that, I'm just gonna behave this way so they think of me this other way. It's always like indirect. And in my case, I just decided to cut out everybody and not have to deal with anybody else like that was negative, and just live a free life. Most of us can't do that because maybe like you are married to the person and you love them and you know that it's gonna work, but your husband is negative. So you wanna kind of give him like a nudge towards, why don't you just become a little bit more positive? Or why don't you just, work with them? And if you have a good relationship and you have an open relationship, then that can be done. But it's not like that for most women. For example, in my case, when I work, if I have a client that I'm in mental health, I'm on my way of becoming a therapist, like psychologist, if I see a client that is like having that, she is even just walking on eggshells around her partner, and he's not doing anything wrong towards her, but she feels like that she's walking on eggshells. I always tell her to consider plans B's and C's, just because you never know. Like if you're walking on eggshells around someone, means that the love is not really there, and maybe you need to take off the blindfolds or whatever and look at the reality of the situation. Maybe that person is not the right person. That's what I at least say to my clients. Of course, it depends case by case. But anyway, to get to your self-worth, you need to get rid of the people that are negative around you, or fix the relationship. Fixing the relationship also could mean he doesn't respect you as a woman. You stand in your own power and you teach him to respect you. But in order for you to teach him to respect you, you need to respect yourself first, because otherwise you don't know what respect looks like, so you don't recognize when he doesn't respect you. So for example, if you're a woman that has kids and has a husband, and you are living in a situation that you're not really happy about because your husband doesn't respect you or make you feel guilty because he's working so hard to pay the bills, or you are working outside of the home and inside, and on top of that you're not being respected, and something that has to do with self-worth, like that your worth is not recognized, then you need to, for a while, just focus on yourself, do your own inner growth, and come back with a new perspective on life and on who you are and what you're doing with your life and everything else. And in that moment, people will respect you. It almost comes automatically. Like in my case, when I found my self-worth, I just realized, people just changed how they talk to me. I didn't do anything. Like they just started smiling more at me and being very nice, or saying hi to me at the park, and I didn't even know them very often. Like, it's like almost my energy was radiant, almost my energy was attracting these people towards me. And how I did that is that I cut out a bunch of people outside of my life, and kind of cocooned myself literally, like I just built like a cocoon around myself, and I just started working on myself. Like, I stopped consuming social media stuff beside YouTube. Like, I love YouTube. There is so much to learn on YouTube. Beside YouTube, I eliminated everything else. I eliminated people. Like, I eliminated all toxicity, people, toxicity, like information. Like, I stopped listening to the news. And these things seem so trivial and so like, oh my God, like, of course I'm gonna stop listening to the news and things will change. Of course not. You have to stop listening to the news and do all of the other things and really want to change. Like, just decide, like, make that big decision of, okay, I'm turning off whatever distracting me from listening to my own thoughts and my own stream of how I talk to myself, how I talk to others, how others talk to me. And you assess where you are with how things are right now with your life. And then once you assess where you are, then you can start looking at what you want. Because if you don't know where you are, it's very difficult that you know what you want. Because you can have a vague idea of what you want, but you're not starting from any base. So it's gonna always keep vague and you don't know how to reach it. But if you know where you are, where you wanna go, you kind of have a distance line, like you can measure it with a ruler or something. You can go in there and say, okay, from this point to this point, it takes me this much time and this much effort and this much work. And you can give it, of course, I didn't know this. Like, I wish I had a guide that told me this stuff that I'm telling you now, that you have to assess where you are and then look at where you want to get. I didn't do that because I didn't know. So I just started from where I was and I was like, okay, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. And then by luck, by my curiosity of finding more of who I am, by many other things like that, by meeting the right people, the right video, the right whatever, I got to the point where I was able to grow and I was in a very, very deep and miserable situation. I was like rock bottom. It was horrible. One day I will tell you my story, not today, but it's inspiring. It's like, that's one of the reasons why I'm here. It's because I see it with my clients, it works. Like, I give what I tell them and my story and all that gives them so much hope. That's one of the reasons why I decided to put it on YouTube, because you never know. Maybe even if it helps one person out of whatever, even if one person is touched by something that I say and she changes her life, or just changes a small thing and she's happier, slightly happier than without the video, I am like accomplished and I don't need anything else. And I hope this can be helpful. Like, it's just another testimony out of the many. It's not that I have anything unique, but I was able to overcome the unworthiness that people pushed in my brain my whole life. Like, you are unworthy, you are useless, you are like the horrible things. I was scapegoated by my family. I had terrible partners that mistreated me. I had all kinds of situations, and I was able to overcome all of that and find independence from everybody and from the world. And of course I have a job and all that, but you know, that's part of life. And I love my job. Like, the good thing is, like, you can have a job and work it and then you don't feel that you're working, or you feel that you're working but not, like, at the end of the day you're tired but you are very accomplished and happy because you helped women, you helped kids, you helped whoever you're working with, men or whatever. It just, you know, depends what you're doing, and as long as you do what you love, it's not heavy on you, it's not like a burden. You do it with pleasure, and that's the important thing. So you can be successful, you can be accomplished, you can have all the things that you want. And the way to get there is by understanding where you are right now. And I found that like journaling, for example, helped me a lot assess where I was and what I was doing, and just writing about every day. And it also gives you like a way of looking at how things change, like from day one, let's say 1 year before you started, how things were. And you were like, in my case, I was like the partner that I had at the time told me that I was narcissistic. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm narcissistic, so I have to do something about it. What does that mean? I went to a therapist and I said, can you diagnose me? And they said, if you were narcissistic, you wouldn't be here asking if you were narcissistic, first of all. And I'm like, okay. And then nobody could diagnose me. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not me. Maybe it's my partner that is, not my partner, but my ex at that point, that is just gaslighting me and just wanting to destroy my whole, he's been terrible. And maybe one day I will tell you what happened to me. But like, for example, in my case, that was my journal. Like that was, I was talking about what happened 1 year before, like last year, for example. I think I'm just remembering writing in my journal, oh my God, maybe I have this issue, maybe I have this other issue. Where am I? What I'm doing here? And this was like a big question mark and confusion and suffering, and it was a horrible period. And now, 1 year later, I have a whole different life. Like I am just a whole different person. I found my self-worth. I feel very empowered in who I am. I feel very like confident in my future. I'm trusty towards the universe and what it can offer, and what is going on with just everything, like the universal laws and all that. I am just very much in harmony with all of that. And I did that by working on myself. And maybe in the next video I can go more into detail about what I did, and like the specific things, like cutting out of like all people that were negative, and journaling trying to journal every night, but most, like at least once or twice a week, and just all the things that I have done to be able to find my self-worth. And I was brought back to life, and it was incredible, and I'm so thankful to be here today. So for today, that's all. I will talk more about these things eventually in other videos, but thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.